Hey, Chris, good morning to you.
Hi, Mike. Good to see your face in my favorite place to be besides my home, our
So,
office.
so thank
Um,
you all for what you are doing and tuning in to the conversations that Centennial and Talent Magnet are putting out. We are all in quarantine together, and we're all getting this through this together. I am in my office. I'm one person in 5,000 square feet, so I feel well quarantined and away from everyone.
yeah.
Chris, what do you feel like is a topic that we should address based on what we're hearing from our clients and the organizations that we're working with?
So, it seems like we've kind of almost settled in to this situation now. And I know that a lot of the conversations you've been having have been turning to the financial decisions that companies are needing to consider right now, as it's as we're uncertain as to how long this is going to last. So, what are some of the financial considerations that our clients are calling you and talking with you about, and also other leaders who I know you counsel and advise as well?
Mm. Well, so many businesses, their greatest expense, as well as their greatest asset, is our people, right? People expenses. Um, and we work with a lot of organizations, obviously in manufacturing. Um, over the last several days, I've been working with several of our clients as well as friends who are business owners, kind of addressing this essential business category and what does that mean for them, and how do they make sure that they truly are essential. And many of them that are getting that code is basically connected to healthcare or food or various products that go into emergency care or organizations. I mean, you and I were talking yesterday. Several of our friends have jumped in and utilized their technology
Mm-hmm.
to leverage to create hand sanitizer and
Yeah.
innovating that way. Eureka Ranch and Brain Brew has done that. Kerrigan has done that. I saw that a few others are looking at their technologies to do that. It's great that people are kind of rallying around that to decide what to do. But in terms, the other reality is there are organizations dealing with. I had a leader a couple days ago say, Mike, we are having the best last 6 months of our company's history. And to be facing this late March of 2020, um, having a discussion around layoffs or furloughs is exactly 180-degree opposite of where we all thought we would be, but how quickly organizations are having to move into that, having to move into work from home and what that has meant. Not only has it shown resilience, but it's also taken on another level of expense for organizations to get everyone immediately set up to work from home, right? I've had nonprofits reach out to me. I've even had some for-profits reach out to me of, Mike, do you have any connections that can get me access to a lot of laptops for our people? Because many of our team members have desktops, right? So um, the other dynamic on workforce is during a time of incredible labor shortage and where people are fighting, the great ones are fighting by providing a great environment to people to work and helping those individuals thrive in their work environments. Now they have to turn to that same group of 30 or 300 or thousands and say, we love you, but we have to make some really tough decisions. And I think I know teams right now as we speak, that are addressing how do we hire. Okay, we've got to put things on pause once they reach a certain level, or these are critical positions because they are the CFO, they are the VP of HR, they are the head of communications and marketing. We are working on critical leadership positions of supply chain leadership and other things that are critical. But on the backside of that, we have to do a plant furlough. or
Yeah.
a facility shutdown, or our restaurants have no one in it. And where 3 weeks ago, our restaurants were so full, we were addressing double drive-through lanes. And how do you do carry out and Uber Eats and DoorDash and all of these other things? So it has flipped the conversations completely on their head. And the resilient leaders are working around the clock and staying up at night, thinking of the turmoil this is having on their people and their companies, while wrestling with the fact that how did this happen? And it shows how vulnerable we all are.
Well, I think it also shows like how there's so much coming at everybody all at one time. You know, these leaders at the top are, you know, of course, worried about their families. They're worried about their employees. They're worried about their customers. And I think, you know, I heard you say something yesterday that I want everybody to hear. And you said how important it is not to overreact. How does a leader not overreact during this time? Like, especially when it comes to financial considerations, like potentially reducing a workforce or thinking of the workforce in a creative way, like some of our clients and some of your friends who are at the leadership level have done. I think one of the cool things about this whole crisis is the creativity that it is inspired, and the companies that are able to pivot so quickly. But how do you, going back to my original question, like how do you not overreact?
Yeah. Well, I addressed, because so many of our team members here at Centennial and the Talent Magnet are awesome authors and provide great content. I was addressing Becky Sheeler's article that she wrote probably a couple years ago now on don't swing the pendulum too fast,
Mm-hmm.
and be thoughtful about the decision, the next decision you're about to make. And you know, I think one of the things is I've been encouraged by employers that have let me know, hey, Mike, we're asking our people how to handle this. Like, here's the ramifications. Here's what's happening. We want to work with you. We want you to know we're a part of this. We're in it with you. And what can we do as a team to help our teammates and our colleagues right now? So having some open conversations. Not every employer listening to this may be able to do that, but I think real leaders go first, right? So, you know, I know in my scenario, my personal scenario, I am working diligently with our banks, with our CPA, with our advisors to ensure that I go first and that I protect everything we can in our business to ensure I protect my people and my family and all of my people's families, right? Family businesses, privately held companies, we view our employees as extensions of our family. So it is critically important that I and you listening and watching are proactive and enable all of your resources, your advisors. You know, if your bank and CPA hasn't called you during this time, I strongly suggest it might be time to evaluate who you utilize. If your attorney hasn't reached out and say, hey, anything you're thinking about that I can be helping you with. So one is take a deep breath and use the expertise of others, because they can also, your team and your advisors can help you lay out options that they're seeing and hearing from others, right? So that's one. I think it's critically important. The other piece is when you have to make the tough decision, when we have to make the tough call, whether it's one, or in most cases, what we're hearing is 60, 160, 1,000 and more that we're reading articles about now. Do so with sincere apology, sincere concern, and sincere desire that we're gonna need you back, right? Assuming that all of the individuals in this case, I mean, companies are running fairly lean anyway,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and provide some resources, right? How we can be a talent magnet during time of separation or furlough or again, unemployment or or just decrease in pay. We're seeing several organizations just work with their teams and let's all take a decrease in pay if this continues, and I'll go first as the leader. The thought process there is, know that whatever decision you make right now, however you make someone feel right now, will never be forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
How you make people feel right now will never be forgotten. And many say that during turmoil and turbulence is when real leadership shows up. So your values will shine through, and make sure that it's a positive experience, right? That you handle this with grace, so that, when you get to the other side of this, people will remember how you feel, and they know what you're going through as an owner, as an executive, as a business, and they want to see you succeed. So they're willing to do the steps they need to do to protect their family, so that you can protect your organization and your family, as well as your extended family, which is our people. I just talking yesterday to an organization who, actually two organizations who are looking at, there are companies who need employees right now, right? So during a time of significant turbulence, there are businesses who are thriving and who have to be extra careful with the rules and regulations, to follow those rules and regulations as it regarding sanitizing and keeping distance and social distancing inside plants. But if you know a colleague who's also seeking 30 people right now, you can provide that as a resource to your people. And maybe you even come up with an agreement with that organization that, hey, during this time, can I shift my workers over to you? And I'd love to be able to bring them back, or bring back 90% if you would
Almost like
allow
a
me.
worker on loan program.
Yeah. So we need to get creative, people. We need to get creative and thoughtful, and pick up the phone, shoot out an email to your network, to your closest colleagues, to your customers, and say, hey, here's what our company is going to have to deal with over the next few days, or already dealt with, or is looking at next week. How can you help me, and how can I help you? Would be a great next step.
Okay, a couple of things. So much to what you just said. So first of all, as your employee, I want to thank you for the thoughts and consideration that you are sharing with all of us. And I mean it like it's choking me up, and I am very grateful to work for you. So that's number one. So thank you for doing that. Number two, the spirit of collaboration that has come out of this crisis. I think I keep hearing the word unprecedented, and I'm kind of sick of that word.
I've
But
typed that word a lot in the last week.
I mean, everybody has. So we're going to attach it to a new word, and that is collaboration. And I think that there are so many little miracles that have come out of all of this. And one of them, I think, is the unbelievable spirit of collaboration that I feel is rising to the top and prevailing. And as a worker myself, that collaboration is something I find very reassuring. The collaboration that so one thing I think that you've done a great job at with our team is be transparent. And, that shuts down the rumor mill, that shuts down, people chit-chatting among themselves. And it also enables us to see all the collaboration that you have done as a leader. And the ultimate net result is that I know our team feels very valued. And that's back to your point of, this is all about how you're making people feel. And your legacy coming out of this crisis, both as a leader and as an organization, is something that you definitely need to think about as you're evaluating all of these decisions. And also the creativity, so that you pointed to, like that worker on loan. I find it all part of the little miracles of this whole crisis. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. It's
Mhm.
I mean, we have an incredible team, right? I mean, we've been saying this. Those listening, our team's been going through our next 3-year strategic plan and are implementing that plan and executing that plan and are excited. I feel like we always have, and feel very blessed to say that our company's always been blessed with great people, those who were on it and those who have gone before them. And to be addressing what's going on right now, again, is we're all in this together.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about on our podcast, the 3 a.m. friends. I've been
Right.
on the phone with those 3 a.m. friends running super tactical questions by them and things that, hey, are you thinking about this? And how are you handling this with your customer and with your employees? And we're brainstorming together, and that's important. So is socialization. So just a couple nights ago, me and 3 other couples did a quarantine and cocktails, right? Like everyone's doing with their Zoom technology, even with their friends. But I can tell you that having proactive advisors, again, I think that the way we respond, having a proactive team that's willing to take action, reprioritize, and do the things necessary and pivot, means that we've led our team well and our team feels valued and our team believes, like we talk a lot about becoming a talent magnet, our team believes they have a meaningful voice and they're in an environment where they can share and express and raise their hand and question. And right now is a time to do that. I also believe you can't just say that. It has to exist, right? So your behaviors and your attitude and your communications have to lead into that. I would say the same thing with our advisors. I mean, I got calls from both of our banks that we utilize as a family with our 4 businesses, and that were so proactive, right? I got a text today from our bank. I got an email yesterday from our other bank that is like, hey, here are the things that are happening. Here's what we're going to do. Which one, what do you need? How do you need help? All of those things ensure that companies are here tomorrow, that companies are here 3 years from now, 10 years from now. And I've been saying, I mean, we're not going anywhere, right? We're going to come out stronger because of this. I've learned from my dad that every time turmoil hits, now is a time to, I think he uses the word hunker down and
Mhm.
ensure that we're doing all of the things we need to do to serve our clients, to serve our people, and to be there for our families. So I'm very thankful for all of those resources. And again, you don't just do that. We believe you have to create a culture that enables that. You have to create an environment, and we have to always be becoming a talent magnet. Our goal is to constantly do the things necessary to create an environment that's such a strong magnetic force field that our team members and our advisors and ourselves want to lead well through even the most difficult times.
So, Mike, I think one of our particular strengths as a company is our core values, and I know almost every great organization has its core values. How have our core values guided you during this time?
Yeah, great question. I mean, first and foremost, it's people first, right? So our team has our family. I mean, we had board meetings and conversations going on with our family real time as we were leading into this. I kind of, comment that the Wednesday, the world was different on Thursday, right? The
Yeah.
light switch completely shifted, and we certainly felt it, and I'm sure many of you did. So having a culture of character is one of our values, and we believe the culture of character is how we make people feel how trustworthy we are and how transparent we are. And that's a big part of what we're trying to do. The other is growth mindset, right? So we have to have a growth mindset, and a growth mindset also means there's lots of definition here, but resilience, perseverance. willingness to not say, oh, look what happened to me, but how am I going to respond to what happened to me? And what am I going to do there? The other, just in the last couple of days, we've kind of engaged a team. What we're experiencing, Chris, I know you know this, but to those listening, people need someone to talk to right now,
Right.
right? So serving our clients with excellence and walking with our customers in difficult conversations is critical. And that's a place where our company can be straight in the middle of, right? I've been putting out on social media, let me know how our team can help you. And wow, what an encouragement it has been that I'm getting phone calls, Facebook messages, LinkedIn messages, requests to do a video chat, actually asking, here's what I could use some help with, Mike. Who do you think I should turn to? Who can I email? Who can I call? These are things my business is addressing, and we're pointing people to other advisors and other resources. The other core value for us is being relationally healthy. And again, I think that is certainly the transparency. I've called my mom, who's our VP and secretary and treasurer, every night since this has gone on, and just said, hey, what are you aware of? Our finance and accounting leader, Gary, he and I have been communicating every day. Chris, you, our marketing manager, Janelle, TJ, Becky, Duran, Jolynn, Kara, Katie, Larry, who's in New York, Jessica. I mean, we've all been supporting one another and being there and making sure our relationships are staying healthy, and how can we help others do the same. So it should, whatever your core values are, they're going to show up in how you respond. And
Mm-hmm.
they're also going to challenge you to say, do you really believe in them? Right? Is this really something that you hold dear and near to your heart? During this time is when that shows up.
Mm-hmm. So, Mike, I know we have put into place some additional resources for those who look to us for guidance during times like these. Can you share with everybody what we have planned?
Yeah, so on the 25th and 27th of March at 10 a.m., we're doing webinars. You can go to talentmagnetinstitute.com/webinar. We also are producing content like this video. I have 5 other discussions this week with faculty and team members scheduled, and several next week. We're also being proactive in reaching out to organizations that we work with and serve, and scheduling. Like this week, I've got 2 video conferences with our client teams on topics they need to address and how we're trying to be proactive there. So also executive coaching. I believe that every athlete, whether terrible or great, has a coach, and every student has a teacher. Every leader should have a coach. So we're also being available for executive coaching during this time. Never more important now to invest in your people and to invest in yourself. You need an outlet and a place to provide you guidance, wisdom, and perspective. So those are a few things. We have some searches that are still going on.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we have 2 searches this week that should be kicking off.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to stay very proactive in utilizing technology. Our team is here to serve and be a resource, and we look forward to connecting with you.
Yeah, and I think it's those leader-to-leader discussions and the spirit of collaboration that's going to carry us all through this, and just the recognition that it's temporary, and this state is not going to last forever, and we need to be not only thinking about today but thinking about tomorrow. And I do think it's that spirit of collaboration and support and leader-to-leader discussion that's going to get us all through. So
yeah, the great analogy, Chris, I'd like to use, a friend of mine, Minda Hart, shared with me this week. Consider right now your training and development and resourcefulness to get prepared to get in the starting blocks of a race. And when the gun fires, when the sound is made for us to re-go again, how are we going to show up and how fit are our businesses and are we going to be to make that happen? So
Yeah.
visualize yourself as preparing to get in the starting blocks of a race, because when this turns back on, as hot as the economy was coming out of this, the needs are going to ramp up. People are going to want to get out, and let's all prepare for that. And Godspeed and God bless all of us as we wrestle through what we're dealing with as a world, not just a nation, as a world. I've talked to companies all over the world now, 11 countries, leaders from 11 countries in the last 2 weeks. And really the last 6 weeks, the conversations have been happening inside our client set, because have so many international leaders that we support. And the world is wrestling with this. So let's have empathy.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that are with us, and we have empathy for you and want to be able to support you. Chris, thank you for this time. To all those watching and listening, thank you. And we look forward to our next conversation.